Live in Jim Miller's garden. Today the early part of this video, I'm gonna pick the giant Marconi peppers that are red and they're ripe to pick. And they're really beautiful. Oh, that one's big. Come on. Oh, that's a beauty. Well, this one's loaded. And you can use on the peppers, there ain't really that much difference between these green ones and the reds. But I'm picking the red ones because after a certain point, they'll start getting rotten spots and other issues with. They'll start drying. Here's another one. I'll look on this other side. People missed out on the best plant. Oh, that one I'll leave. I'll go visit this next plant. Here's one way up here. Oh boy, I got a bucket full already almost. Here's one. Here's one. Oh, there's one there. Yeah, that one's got a stem. Is that red? Yeah, it's red enough. Yeah, picking the whole stem off. That one. I got 2 viewers. Come and help me pick peppers. Got a whole pail so far. Okay, let's look at these guys. I'll pick you. All right, be stubborn. Uh-oh. I picked the green one with it, but there's no small one, so I didn't hurt the operation. That's nice looking. Okay. Yeah, there's a red one there. All these look good. I can get a hold of it. 7 watching. 2 thumbs up. That's pretty awesome. I'll let you go a week. These are giant Marconi peppers. Oh, there's a red one on this other plant. There's 2. Come on. It's hard doing one-handed picking, but yeah, there's 4 watching, 3 thumbs up. That's not bad. Those look really nice looking. I got a good number left. Let them ripen. We got a forecast through into November of well above freezing temperatures, it'll give these a chance to ripen out and grow more. Like, where's a this little bitty one might get some size to it in a couple weeks. This is in the lower garden, and you can see this is 11:30 and it's shaded, pretty much shaded. So there ain't much light to make things grow anymore down at this end of the garden. I'll look a little more, do a review of that's the one I looked at. I'll give it some time. These plants, they look really healthy. I wish we had some more growing season, and they would just keep on putting on peppers. They'll pepper until Christmas time, but it's gonna freeze here certainly before then. So I got them picked and in great shape. I'm gonna take them in the house and sort them and bag them and clean them up and put in the fridge. And I'm getting so many now, I'm gonna start cutting them up and freezing. And I put those in chili and other things. I like putting them on pizza. I like to get some onions, some of my onions, and cut them up and make pizza with pepperoni and cheese, and add the onions and the peppers to the mix. Oh, I gotta come out. I didn't shut that door right. I gotta come out that door. All right. I'm gonna reach into the old bunny bag. That bunny bag was full and it was burst at the seams, and I've been using these bags, shopping bags, on a lot of garden stuff this year. And find some room here on this table. Here's my tomatoes ripening. Let's see, I'm gonna get some scissors. Where's some? I'm gonna get some real scissors. I use some of these. I have some garden scissors that the handles are completely gone, but I can still pinch a little. But today I'm gonna just use regular scissors to cut these stems off. And bag them. Yeah. Well, that's the one I cut with the... These are in great shape. I only saw one that had a little tiny brown spot on it. The rest of them are looking great. Yeah. This one's fine. Okay, I'll put a couple more, and then I'll get another bag. stop. Yeah, I'm scaring the viewers away. This is not the checkout line, it's the check-in line. And Jim Miller's Garden checking in. Ooh, see this one here is, it's getting a little dry. It's starting to ripen. And here's the one with the little brown spot. So this bag will have to be, and here's another one. That one's just, yeah, it's starting to dry. It's starting to dry up a little. Very good, nice harvest. And I'll throw these leaves in the pail. Take back to the garden, recycle it. All right. Oop, one didn't get counted. Okay. I'll take these to the fridge. I don't know if I can. I'm gonna time real quick. Keep them from drying out even more. They find a spot in the fridge. Who knows? Okay. All right. Sometimes this light works. Let's see. What do we got? Well, I'm going to take some potatoes up to the upstairs. I'll take a small size group of potatoes and I'll replace them with the peppers. Well, I have to put that elsewhere. I still gotta. This is our spare fridge for. I still got a lot of potatoes. You know, I dug those in late June, early July. I still have a lot of. Why is that? Okay. I still have a lot of white onions. And Nana's making chili today, and she might use the rest of my sweet onions. So here's the fridge. And here's the freezer of this fridge. You know, there's meat on this side, but over here is mostly frozen tomatoes in bags. I had a lot of tomatoes at one point, and I put a lot of them in. I would put them in a Ziploc and then put 2 grocery bags and tie them and make sure they don't freezer burn. And I'd had some last year like that, and they kept well. And I got a good, I don't know, 12, 15 bags of tomatoes, gallon bags. And I got them frozen, and I'll use them through the winter. And I'm gonna, while I'm here, I'm gonna sort my, look through these tomatoes that are starting to have spots on them. See, this one here needs to be refrigerated, and I'll clean that when I make something again. I might go back with the pork loin. I got some pork loins, and they really got some good flavor to them, and I'll make a stew again, use tomatoes, carrots, onions, potatoes, and the one I just made is really delicious. That one's still, this one feels ripe. So yeah, this one can go. That one, she'll give. That one's got a, yeah, yeah. And that'll just keep them from getting worse. And I got probably about 3 days of that stew to eat, and then it's back into making a stew. I'll probably go and stew again. You look okay. You look okay. And those little bitty grape tomatoes. Here, I'll throw that in. It's got a spot. These are some volunteers. Yeah, that one's ready. Volunteer tomatoes, and these grape one, or these purplish ones, are interesting. I don't know what they are. They came in from bird. Very likely bird manure. What do you look like? Shoot, I'll throw you in. And usually when I make a chili pot, or even the last time on a stew pot, I filled this bucket full of tomatoes, and I would core them, cut the bad spots off, and throw them in the processor, grind them up, and then add to the pot. And I'm going to check. This is a previous group of tomatoes. It's a small. And I add this and keep them. And I'll certainly have enough for stew coming up here about Wednesday. Take these out. Oh, I got to go through the other door. I'll take these scissors back so they can cut their pizzas boxes. Okay. I'm surprised people are still watching this, but let's go. All right, back to Mama. Okay. That little chore's done. Take a look at the rest of the garden. See how it's doing this week. All right. I'll start my usual area. Okay. Yep, this volunteer tomato row is done for the year because I don't see any little ones. Okay. I picked my pumpkins and squash that were ready. Most of the vines have died, so take them in the house. I took them in the house to ripen more. And here is the sweet potato patch, climbing the fence all over the place. And I see, this is the first time I grew them. These are purple sweet potatoes, but I noticed that they're very susceptible to frost. And we must have got down to 32 right here. Just a spot here and a spot there got frostbitten a little bit. And it's not supposed to freeze for into November. And I'm happy with that. And here's this big old marigold that's still blooming away. Not much sun down here anymore, down in this end of the garden. just a handful of tomatoes. These are yellow. These are, look at you. I picked them yesterday morning. These are yellow tomatoes, what's left of them. And I let the sweet potatoes just climb on in because the tomatoes are about done. And here's this volunteer row. There's just a few left. Those are not bad on size. Okay, there's the giant Marconis I just picked here at the start of the video. And last week I mowed the lower lawn here, and I took the clippings and put in the garden to decompose. There was a lot of leaves, tree leaves, in with them, so I think it's about a 6 bagger full. And the leaves are not totally down yet, so I'm going to see, look at all the potential. All these leaves are going to fall here in a month or two, and I'll be bagging more and just piling in this garden. And here are the beefsteak tomatoes. There's still a few in there, still a few hanging on. I think they're still trying to grow a little. And here's a volunteer tomato. It's got a good number on it. Here's another volunteer in the fence here. And it had some real beautiful tomatoes on it. Pretty good for a volunteer. And here's my bean. It's still trying to bloom. Okay. And here's some beans I missed out on. I'm going to keep those for seed, along with these others. Well, these are starting to turn. These are ripening or drying out. So I'll save these for seed. And I like this plant. This is a single bean plant that was a volunteer that started right here and climbed the fence and had a good number of beans this year. I got some in the fridge. I got to run this week. I'm going to take those and boil them for probably nearly an hour and add potatoes in the middle there. And when the potatoes are done, the beans are done, and then I'll add butter, salt and pepper, and then I'll have a big pile of stuff to eat. So I'm gonna go on this lower end. And here's this flat Dutch cabbage down here. It's not getting much light anymore. I mean, there's light here and there's none here, and it's going to get worse. And here is some more of these flat Dutch cabbage. I don't know what kind of winter we're going to have. Are they going to survive the winter or not? I'm with these bigger ones, I'm hoping for a cabbage head before the weather gets bad. They have a forecast on the Weather Channel. I don't think they're very accurate, but they really have a real above normal streak through this area for the winter, like, November, December, January. Well, if they're right, I'm going to be happy because these cabbages might do well into December. And here's these volunteer tomatoes that were part of a pumpkin patch, and there's still one pumpkin right over there next to the fence. I left it because the leaves still had a little bit of green to them. They're about done. And here's this it's doing pretty good, and it's not getting much light. I'm probably getting about 2 hours of light a day now, this tomato. And it's the one that was kind of the latest to put tomatoes on, but it's doing pretty well now. And here's some volunteer tomatoes that were in the squash patch. The squash are gone, but I don't think, I might not have picked any off of this. This really came in late, this tomato plant. And I said, well, good luck, but it put on a good handful of tomatoes, and I don't think I've picked one from that plant yet. And here's this, oh, there's one ripe down there I missed. This tomato's pretty much dead in this cage. It was beautiful. It was like 8 feet in the air. So it's about done. I'm gonna get a lot of these tomatoes picked before frost if the forecast is correct. They're just on the verge of turning, and they're not gonna be, usually I would get a big old bucket of green tomatoes, but this year they're gonna be not a lot of tomatoes at frost time. And here's these tomatoes that's sprouted in a crack between the house wall and the sidewalk, and they're still wanting to grow. I don't know if this one, I think that one's done. I don't think there's going to be any more. It's got flowers. There's a chance it might put a tomato, but we'll see. Oops. And here's this cabbage that is getting about 3 years old. It had I know what I did. I think there was 3 plants that were alive, and I harvested seed off of a bunch. And I think this plant here was part of a plant that I cut back to give the beans that are gone now. What were they? These turkey craw beans. I cut back the cabbage to take give the beans more sun, and it sprouted back, and here we go. We got some, and I just don't, we'll see. I'm thinking of cutting like half of this back and to the about down to the root, and see if it'll sprout in the spring and grow a cabbage head, because it's happened before. And here's another cabbage that happens to be alive. Volunteer tomato that's got one little tomato left. Here's some more tomatoes on a small row of volunteers that I dug these up and I put here. And here's this volunteer tomato that has they're green now, but they turn kind of a real dark green, and then kind of a purple look to them as they ripen. That's an interesting tomato. That's a volunteer. I don't know. I'm gonna have to research this one and see if I can even find out what kind of tomato it is. And here's this that don't have a thing in it. These tomatillos, this came over by from seed from likely a bird. Ooh, this one's got some size. And I toss them in the chili and stuff. All right. Here's this acorn squash. I'm going to try to pick it. Of course, it won't break off. All right, here we go. Nice late one. The plant managed to survive through the summer. It was pretty hot and dry for periods, and that plant survived it. And I think I watered to keep it alive too. Okay, I looked at that one. Here's this Bush Goliath tomato. That one's got some wormholes in it. I think the worms are done for the year. And here's some on the end of the branch. Oh, these look good. What is this? This is the third one. This is supposed to be Mr. Stripey. I don't know why they call it that. A lot of the time the nursery puts the wrong or labels the seed wrong, and we end up with something we don't know, we don't want. But they're still tomatoes. Ooh, I didn't know you were growing. Here is what was that? Oh, that's the Flat Dutch. I didn't know it was alive yet. So I'm gonna have to look at that, see if it survives the winter. It may produce another cabbage head, I don't know. Here's this other Mr. Stripey's or something else. It had a lot of tomatoes the last several weeks, and it's still got a good number. Is this part of this? Yeah, this is the Brandywine. One tomato, and it's got some worm damage. Okay. What happened to that? Yeah, that completely died. There was this really late pumpkin, and it succumbed to molds and whiteflies, and it died. I didn't think it had much of a chance. So, and here's this marigold plant. It's got a lot of buds, so it might look pretty here in a week or two. And this marigold plant really looks good. This is a volunteer marigold that I think it came in with the chicken manure I got from the neighbors. And that's good. Got a kind of a marigold row going here where the corn was. Okay, there's a bumblebee to look at if you don't fly off. They love these marigolds. Are you sleeping? He's feasting. He's feasting out. And here's another volunteer tomato, just putting little tomatoes, and I trained it up this sunflower stalk. It's about done with its business. Okay. I'll go up here first. And these are another bunch of Flat Dutches, cabbages. This is a younger one. I replanted that spot because the seedling died, and I said I'm gonna put in another one, and it grew. And there's a couple cabbage plants here competing with each other. And this bigger one it's not a solid head, but it's trying to form a head. And here's this one off to the side this bigger one took a lot of the lights, but it looks pretty good next to it. Look at these potted tomatoes that were volunteer. I put them in this chicken manure stuff, and they did pretty well. They're about done. The neighbors are making us smoke. I'm looking for some Nightshades. Those don't look very good. I ate a few the other day that were delicious. And I got out of the habit of picking them, probably because they weren't very good. Yeah, they're drying. Here's one. That tastes, oh, that's really good. That one's good. Got 4 thumbs up. That one's a little sour, but yeah, they're about done growing. And I know next year that's going to be a lot of volunteer nightshades. These nightshades came in here last year, probably from the birds. And I knew what they were. Some of these are pretty tasty. Because in South Dakota, they came up volunteering in the garden all the time. They're North American nightshades. They're not poisonous. They're just a nice little snack in the garden. Okay, I'm gonna go on these. Oh boy, I'm getting smoked out. You see the sweet potato vines are on the opposite side of the fence now. I hope they don't. They probably won't. I hope they don't send down, root down and have potatoes on this side. If I get some, fine, but I don't think they're gonna do that. And here is these volunteer tomatoes that I caged up with fence posts. There's 3 hills. They're about done. I think this one's 1 tomato left, or 2. That's about done. So they're about done for the year. They really had a decent production this year. And here's this poor volunteer tomato. It had a couple big ones on it. And I mowed this area here last week. Just chopped it down. It had a lot of the pumpkin vines climbed out into the yard. It's some of the neighbor's yard. And grass started growing with it. And I just let it go. And I chopped it last week. And here's this tomatillo, what's left of it. It's got little ones in it. This one here this is a pretty good sized one. And I got a bag of them in the fridge and I don't know what to do with them yet. And here's another volunteer tomato, what's left of it. There's 5 tomatoes left. Hey, George. This was the best of the caged volunteer tomatoes. And it's got a big tomato to harvest. It's still green. There's still a few others. And look at this marigold. This was a plant I didn't know about. So that was pretty nice to have a real pretty flower that I didn't expect. And here's this marigold here, barely gets any sun. It's starting to bloom finally. It'll get sun about maybe a couple hours of sun here about 5-6 p.m. And I think these are the volunteer tomatoes. These 2 tomatoes are for volunteer. And this Bush Goliath, it's got 1 tomato left. It's still growing a little. And this bucket tomato's got one little tomato. It's got a bigger one. A couple. There's another small one. I still water it. And these pineapples, I need to get those in pretty soon. Maybe even before frost. But they look good. We're getting a lot of good sunny days, so they'll be good. And what this is a Mexican petunia. It bloomed during the week a little bit. I think it needs to be pruned down. I don't know if I could prune. I hate to prune it way down and not come back, but I don't know. I might have to look up. Okay, that's about it. I think I've gone through everything this week. Not much left to look at, but I got the peppers picked. All right, well, thanks for watching on Jim Miller's Garden, and I may come out here next week and there might be something else to look at. Not supposed to freeze yet. All right, thanks for watching.